Title: The Lost Signal, a true story of a camper who vanished midstream. Help this channel grow. Like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more stories. This helps us a lot. Thank you. The story begins. On the morning of July 18, 2023, 29-year-old outdoor streamer Tyler Briggs left his apartment in Flagstaff, Arizona, for a planned 48-hour solo survival challenge. According to friends, this trip was supposed to be the most ambitious project of his small but growing YouTube channel, Ty Briggs Outdoors. Briggs's online persona was enthusiastic and upbeat, often centered around wilderness endurance, gear reviews, and casual camping tutorials. In the weeks before the trip, he had told his audience he wanted to push boundaries and film a no-service survival stream using only solar power and an experimental satellite hotspot. He titled the broadcast No Signal Survival, 48 Hours Alone in Pine Hollow. The Pine Hollow National Reserve sits in a sparsely populated stretch of forest north of Coconino County. The area has limited road access and almost no cell coverage beyond the first 10 miles. Weather reports from that week describe mild temperatures and scattered summer storms. Briggs's last verified communication came from a 7:03 a.m. text to his friend and fellow content creator, Eli Watkins, reading: "Heading out now. 2 days. Schedule's up. Tell chat I'll check in by nightfall." Watkins replied with a thumbs up emoji. By 11:27 a.m., Briggs's live stream went online. The early footage showed him driving along a gravel service road, camera mounted to the dashboard. The tone of the first 2 hours matched his usual content: upbeat commentary, gear demonstrations, and mild complaints about the Arizona heat. Investigators later reconstructed the key events from the archived footage and chat logs. 2:48 p.m., Tyler parks near a dried-up creek bed and begins unloading his equipment. GPS coordinates from his GoPro confirm this location was roughly 41 miles northeast of Flagstaff, an area bordered by steep canyons and pine ridges. For 12 p.m., he finishes pitching his tent and sets up a small campfire ring. Audio captures him joking about being completely off-grid. 6:55 p.m., sunset begins. The video quality degrades slightly as the light fades. Tyler remarks on the sudden drop in ambient sound, saying, "It's weird, no crickets, no wind. Just dead quiet." 7:42 p.m., the first technical anomaly occurs. Viewers in the live chat report flickering brightness and distortion on the camera feed. Tyler appears visibly frustrated, tapping the side of his phone and muttering about signal drift. Moments later, he holds up his device to the camera, showing a list of nearby Bluetooth signals. One of them reads, "Unknown device, 2, followed by another labeled, Briggs 2. Chat activity spikes with speculation. Tyler laughs it off, calling it a glitch, and continues streaming. 7:59 p.m., the tone of the footage changes abruptly. Tyler begins whispering, possibly unaware of it. He comments that he's hearing soft steps outside the tent perimeter and switches his camera to infrared mode. Nothing visible appears in the frame. 8:03 p.m., a brief flicker of movement appears at the tree line behind him, a pale, indistinct shape lasting less than half a second. Dozens of live viewers type warnings into chat. "Bro, something's behind you. Freeze the frame." Tyler spins around with his flashlight. The beam hits only trees. 8:10 p.m., the connection starts to drop. Audio fragments overlap, voices in the background repeat his words a half-second later, like an echo. 8:14 p.m., stream quality collapses. For exactly 11 minutes, the image remains frozen on Tyler's face, partially illuminated by firelight. His expression is blank, mouth slightly open, eyes fixed past the camera. 8:25 p.m., feed cuts to black. The stream remains active another 22 minutes, broadcasting only static. After that, the platform automatically ends the live event due to inactivity. When Tyler failed to check in by the following evening, Eli Watkins contacted local authorities. A missing person report was filed at 5:31 p.m., July 19, listing last known coordinates from the GPS metadata embedded in his uploaded footage. A 3-person ranger team began searching the area early July 20th. They located Tyler's truck, locked and parked on an unmarked logging road about 2.4 miles from the camping site. Inside were personal items, spare batteries, protein bars, and a notebook containing streaming notes. In the glove compartment, investigators found a printed checklist titled, Stream Setup, Emergency Protocol. The final bullet point read: if device disconnects unexpectedly, wait for auto-reconnect. Search teams discovered the remains of Tyler's campfire the same afternoon. The tent was collapsed but intact, showing no signs of struggle or forced entry. However, officers noted several unusual details in their field report. The tent zipper was closed from the outside. A second set of footprints circled the site once, then disappeared toward the creek bed. The satellite hotspot device was found powered on, indicator light blinking red. Forensics later confirmed the hotspot had attempted to reconnect to a streaming signal 7 times between 8:25 p.m. and 4:11 a.m. the night of the disappearance. Briggs's camera equipment and phone were missing. Because the stream had broadcast live, news of his disappearance spread quickly through social media. Clips and screen captures of the final minutes circulated widely under the hashtag #FindTypeRigs. Viewers debated whether the mysterious figure seen behind him was human, a trick of light, or a compression artifact. Within 48 hours, Reddit threads, YouTube analyses, and TikTok breakdowns appeared, some claiming to enhance the image enough to reveal a second face. Authorities dismissed those claims publicly, labeling the footage too low resolution to verify. Privately, investigators requested a forensic analysis from the Arizona Department of Public Safety's digital unit. Their conclusion, filed in a confidential memo on August 2, reads: frame anomaly consistent with temporal artifact caused by unstable bitstream. No conclusive evidence of external subject. Despite that, search volunteers reported hearing unexplained radio interference on short-range walkie-talkies near the creek bed. The interference repeated fragments of transmitted phrases, mostly static, but occasionally single words matching Tyler's speech pattern. Eli Watkins, frustrated with the slow pace of the official search, returned to the site on July 23 with 2 friends and a drone camera. Their footage, later uploaded to his channel, shows what appears to be a partial footprint impression near a cluster of rocks, longer than a normal shoe print, with uneven depth, as if pressed from above. State authorities reviewed the footage but declined to comment. During his trip, Watkins also claimed his personal phone detected a Bluetooth signal labeled Ty Briggs Outdoors. When he attempted to connect, the device crashed. His location at that time was approximately 1 mile from the original campsite. The Coconino County Sheriff's Office suspended the active search on August 10, 2023, citing lack of new evidence. The case remains open but inactive. At this time, there are no indications of foul play. Environmental exposure and disorientation remain the most probable causes of disappearance. However, in interviews, rangers privately described Pine Hollow as unusually difficult terrain. One officer, who requested anonymity, told a local journalist, "That place doesn't sound right at night. Radio's cut out. You start feeling like you're walking in circles even with GPS." Tyler's final live stream archive remains hosted on his channel. The platform automatically split the footage into 3 segments due to the connection drop. Viewers have repeatedly reported that the middle segment occasionally shows visual distortions not present in earlier downloads. Some claim the static patterns briefly form letters or shapes. Others insist the audio contains low-frequency murmurs resembling breathing. Digital analysts have found no verifiable changes to the file hash. As of 2025, the video has over 12 million views. The comments section remains active with ongoing theories ranging from hoax to paranormal interference. The most enduring mystery of the case concerns the timestamp anomaly. According to the data logs obtained from the satellite provider, the hotspot maintained active power and network handshake attempts for several hours after the feed was cut. The final recorded event, logged at 4:11 a.m., July 19, reads: Reconnect successful, device ID, Ty Briggs outdoors. No secondary device was ever recovered. To this day, no trace of Tyler Briggs has been found. His truck remains impounded, his channel remains online. Family members have declined further comment, though his sister, in a 2024 interview, said she occasionally receives notifications from his account, automatically generated birthday reminders, streaming anniversaries, and once, a brief message appearing in her inbox. The source of that message could not be verified. The disappearance of Tyler Briggs might have faded into another unsolved wilderness case if not for the internet. What began as a small local report quickly grew into a cross-platform investigation led not by law enforcement but by online communities obsessed with finding what the authorities missed. Within a week of the incident, the hashtag #FindTyBriggs had accumulated more than 2 million mentions across Reddit, X, and YouTube. Users began downloading and dissecting every frame of his final broadcast, comparing time codes, waveform patterns, and GPS coordinates. The collective effort became informally known as the Hollow Project. One of the first major breakthroughs came from a Reddit user operating under the name TrailGhost77. Using open-source software, they extracted still frames from the final minutes of the stream. In a long post dated July 28, 2023, TrailGhost claimed to have found embedded reflections in the flicker of Tyler's flashlight beam, shapes resembling eyes positioned higher than a person's natural line of sight. Digital forensics experts dismissed the finding as compression distortion. Yet the thread gained traction, eventually reaching national attention when several mainstream outlets ran short segments referencing online conspiracy theories surrounding the case. The additional visibility caused a secondary surge in viewership. Tyler's subscriber count rose from 18,000 to nearly 300,000 within 2 weeks, an uncomfortable irony not lost on his family. On August 1, a 4-minute audio clip began circulating privately among the Hollow Project's Discord servers. The file was allegedly recorded by forest rangers during their initial search. A voice identified as Ranger 1 can be heard saying, "Got footprints near the East Creek." Another responds, "How fresh," followed by, "Couple hours at most." But there's a second set following behind. After a long silence, one of them adds quietly, "These aren't human prints." The file cuts off immediately afterward. Coconino County officials issued a statement calling the audio fabricated. However, the timestamps embedded in the file's metadata matched the first day of the search, July 20, 2023. The original uploader never came forward, and the clip has since been scrubbed from major platforms. Re-uploads are usually removed within hours under copyright or impersonation claims. In interviews conducted that same month, Tyler's friend and fellow streamer Eli Watkins revealed that, the night before Tyler left, he had received a short, unsettling phone call. "He sounded off," Eli said in a podcast appearance. "He told me his phone kept connecting to something named Briggs 2, like an exact clone of his device. I told him to reset it. He laughed and said, 'Maybe my evil twin wants to stream.' That was it." Eli's recollection gained further attention when users discovered a now-deleted scheduled event on Tyler's channel titled, "Signal Test, 11:11 p.m. The listing had been created automatically, 2 days after the disappearance, using the same formatting Tyler typically used for pre-scheduled streams. The thumbnail image was unfamiliar, a low-light shot of Tyler asleep inside his tent. Forensic analysts could not determine the upload source. Logs indicated it originated from an external API. The event went live for exactly 4 minutes before being removed by the platform. Viewers who caught the short broadcast reported hearing wind, faint breathing, and a single whispered phrase, "Don't answer it." The audio has never been recovered. As speculation grew, mainstream outlets attempted to refocus the narrative toward rational explanations. The Arizona Republic ran a headline reading, "Digital Obsession Fuels Pine Hollow Panic," quoting sheriff's deputies who blamed crowdsourced hysteria. Yet privately, several local journalists admitted the technical anomalies were difficult to dismiss. A veteran reporter named Lisa Garvey, who had covered missing persons cases in the region for years, began compiling her own timeline. She obtained police body cam transcripts under the state's Public Records Act. One exchange between officers on July 22 notes interference on their radios when approaching the creek bed. The transcript reads: Deputy Klein, signal dropped again. Picking up a loop. Deputy Ramos, a loop of what? Klein, our own transmission from 20 seconds ago. The official report summarized the malfunction as feedback caused by terrain. Garvey published these findings on her investigative blog, but the post was removed within a week following a takedown request citing sensitive law enforcement data. Her account was later suspended for automated activity, though she denied using any automation. She has not publicly commented since. In early September, hikers found a second tent approximately 1 mile upstream from the original site. The tent matched the make and model of Tyler's but appeared sun-bleached and older. Inside were 3 empty energy drink cans, a burnt phone battery, and a printed photograph of Tyler. The back of the photo contained a timestamp, July 19, for 12 a.m., roughly 10 hours after his live stream ended. Authorities retrieved the items but have never confirmed their connection to the case. Independent analysts argued that the printed photo could not have been produced in that time frame without access to specialized portable printers. None were listed in Tyler's inventory. This discovery reignited online theories that someone had been replicating his equipment, perhaps staging a hoax or reenacting scenes from his stream. But forensic tests found no human DNA on the photograph, only environmental residue consistent with prolonged exposure to damp soil. Throughout autumn 2023, hikers and amateur radio operators began reporting strange interference patterns in the Pine Hollow region. Some described brief overlaps of digital signals, snippets of voice lines matching segments of Tyler's final broadcast. A few claimed to hear their own transmissions repeated back to them seconds later in a lower tone. Local authorities issued a statement advising visitors to avoid speculative use of communications devices within the reserve, citing risks of false distress calls. However, internal maintenance logs from the Arizona Forest Service show that multiple Ranger radios required replacement due to repeated firmware corruption. The reported cause, unknown frequency collision. The agency's spokesperson called the issue technical coincidence. Meanwhile, members of the Hollow Project community began experiencing what they described as residual effects. Several high-activity users reported their phones connecting to unknown Bluetooth devices with names resembling variations of tie-breaks. Others mentioned hearing short bursts of static through headphones when reviewing archived footage. Psychologists later suggested collective anxiety and confirmation bias as likely explanations. Eli Watkins, by then emotionally exhausted, deleted his channel entirely in December 2023. In his final post he wrote, "The deeper you dig, the louder it gets. I can't tell what's playback and what's live anymore." His statement sparked new speculation that he had uncovered unreleased information. Attempts to contact him afterward went unanswered. By early 2024, the case attracted academic interest. A digital forensics researcher at Flagstaff University, Dr. Mia Landon, volunteered to analyze a backup copy of the corrupted hotspot logs. Using custom decoding software, she identified a pattern of reconnection attempts not previously documented in police records. Between 8:03 p.m. and 4:11 a.m. on the night of the disappearance, the hotspot attempted to re-establish signal 7 times, each to a different IMEI address, unique identifiers used by mobile devices. 5 of those addresses matched Tyler's registered equipment. The remaining 2 were untraceable but bore the same naming convention, Ty Briggs Outdoors. Dr. Landon presented her preliminary findings at a cybersecurity symposium, warning of potential device ID duplication in off-grid networks. Her slides, later circulated online, showed a looping log entry repeating every 47 minutes. Reconnect successful, latency pending. When asked to clarify what that meant, she replied, it implies a signal handshake that never completed but never failed. Within a month, the university placed her on administrative leave citing mental health concerns. Her professional email began auto-replying with a single sentence. The signal never left. No further updates have been published. By spring 2024, most official inquiries had closed. Insurance settlements were processed, the family moved out of state. Yet the community surrounding the case remained active. Periodically, new viewers claimed to notice subtle changes in the archived stream, extra frames, shifting light patterns, even background whispers. Forensic experts have consistently denied any file alteration, though one independent analyst privately admitted, if the source changed on the host's end, we'd never see it in the checksum. Attempts to contact the streaming platform for clarification have gone unanswered. In November 2024, an anonymous user uploaded a 30-second clip labeled Pine Hollow 2.0 to several video forums. The footage showed the same creek bed where Tyler last streamed, filmed at night. For most of the clip, nothing moves. Then, a light blinks once in the distance, blue, steady, like a power indicator. The final frame freezes on a blurred human outline. GPS data embedded in the file placed its origin within 50 meters of Tyler's campsite. Authorities traced the upload to a prepaid mobile router purchased in Flagstaff under a false name. No suspect was identified. By the end of 2024, the official record of the Briggs disappearance spanned over 900 pages of reports, logs, and digital analysis. Yet not a single trace of him, or his equipment, had been found. The prevailing public theories remain divided. Disorientation and exposure, the official conclusion. Signal interference and data corruption, favored by experts. Identity replication, argued by the few who believe Tyler's broadcast had been hijacked by an unknown force. Each explanation carried its own gaps. The only consensus among investigators and online sleuths alike was that something about Pine Hollow remained unresolved. The forest appeared ordinary by day, but by night, devices behaved unpredictably, as though the air itself carried an echo that refused to fade. In January 2025, nearly 18 months after Tyler Briggs vanished, the Pine Hollow case resurfaced in the most unexpected way, not through new sightings or confessions, but through a routine digital audit at a private data recovery firm in Phoenix, Arizona. The firm, Delta Data Solutions, had been contracted by the state's Department of Public Safety to sanitize decommissioned electronic evidence. Among hundreds of storage drives was one labeled simply, Coconino, 12B, marked archived, do not erase. A technician performing a checksum verification noticed that the drive's capacity was larger than its labeling suggested. Hidden within an encrypted partition, he found a series of fragmented video logs. At first glance, the files appeared corrupted, only static, tone bursts, and intermittent frames of blue light. But one file contained a working audio stream, background wind, followed by what sounded unmistakably like Tyler's voice. Testing again. Time. 4:09, I don't think it's me talking anymore. The file lasted 12 seconds. The date stamp read July 20th, 2023, for 11 a.m., roughly 2 minutes after his live stream ended. The discovery prompted the reopening of the investigation. Delta data engineers worked under police supervision to reconstruct the remaining video fragments. Using forensic interpolation, they produced what appeared to be a low-resolution panoramic scan of the forest. In the image's far corner, a light source moved in steady intervals, like a person walking with a flashlight. When magnified, the object's path formed a loop, returning repeatedly to the same spot, the approximate location of Tyler's camp. The final visible frame showed a silhouette facing the camera, illuminated only by the reflection of the beam. No clear facial features were visible, but body metrics software estimated a height of 6 feet, weight around 170 pounds, and limb proportions identical to Tyler Briggs. The footage appeared to depict him, or someone exactly matching his physical signature, walking toward his own camera several hours after his recorded disappearance. The footage was classified as anomalous by the department and forwarded to Arizona State University's Digital Forensics Lab for independent verification. There, data analyst Dr. Ray Fenner confirmed that the source encoding matched Tyler's known devices, but added a troubling detail. The file headers indicate two separate device signatures merged mid-recording, as if one was overriding the other in real time. The finding reignited the dormant online community. Within days, leaks from inside the lab appeared on Reddit, containing still images of the recovered frame and excerpts of the analyst's report. One screenshot bore a partial text overlay from the corrupted metadata. Duplicate user detected, awaiting authentication. The phrasing was consistent with a feature sometimes found in paired device networks, but the function only triggered when two identical logins accessed the same broadcast key simultaneously. In plain terms, something else had logged into Tyler's account while he was still streaming. The revelation triggered a media frenzy. Major outlets ran headlines such as, "The Duplicate Streamer Mystery," and "Echo Signal Found in Pine Hollow Case." Cybersecurity experts appeared on talk shows speculating about cloned devices, government surveillance errors, and deliberate digital tampering. One viral segment featured a former telecom engineer explaining how mirrored IMEI numbers, once thought impossible, could occur under rare electromagnetic anomalies. He suggested a local geomagnetic fluctuation might have caused Tyler's device to transmit both an authentic and a phantom signal. While technically plausible, the explanation failed to account for the recovered audio file, the moment Tyler's voice admitted, "I don't think it's me talking anymore." In February 2025, researchers at the National Radio Astronomy Observatory analyzed the original stream's background noise and discovered something new, a recurring tone at 19.2 kHz, a frequency barely within human hearing range. When isolated, the tone formed a rhythmic pulse pattern, 7 beats, pause, 2 beats, identical to the LED blink rate on Tyler's camera. Audio engineers later noted that the same pulse appeared faintly in the leaked Ranger recording, the one featuring the phrase, "These aren't human prints." A possible correlation emerged between the interference and certain blue wavelengths visible in the footage. This coincidence inspired the nickname, the blue signal, a term that soon trended across platforms and inspired countless amateur analyses. Skeptics argued it was nothing more than a coincidence, a quirk of low-frequency sound overlapping with LED modulation. But as the tone gained pop-cultural traction, the people closest to the case began withdrawing from public life. Eli Watkins deleted his social media permanently. Tyler's sister closed her accounts after receiving dozens of voice messages containing a faint, identical pulse tone in the background. In March 2025, a joint investigative team from Outside Magazine and the Arizona Republic received permission to revisit Pine Hollow accompanied by Forest Service officers. Using standard digital sensors, they attempted to replicate the same conditions as Tyler's final night. For the first 24 hours, readings remained normal. Then, at approximately 2:46 a.m., the crew's radio transmitters began looping fragments of their own conversations back at them with a 3-second delay, the same phenomenon reported by deputies 2 years prior. On reviewing footage, one camera recorded a brief blue flicker illuminating the trees from an indeterminate distance. Thermal imaging revealed no heat signature. The team cut their trip short the next morning. None of the recovered files showed definitive proof of tampering, yet the broadcast logs registered 2 simultaneous outgoing connections from the same camera. When questioned, the device manufacturer stated, "That model does not support dual streams." By April 2025, the case had become less a missing person investigation and more a question of perception. Universities cited it in seminars on digital consciousness, while conspiracy channels claimed Pine Hollow was part of a covert communication experiment. The FBI's Cyber Crimes Division quietly reviewed all recovered data for potential foul play. Their internal summary, later leaked, concluded with the phrase, "Evidence of intentional deception cannot be confirmed or denied." The Briggs family declined further comment. Yet one final piece of data complicated everything. A satellite signal log from NOAA's Environmental Monitoring Network, recorded the night of Tyler's disappearance. At 4:12 a.m., the system detected a burst of unregistered transmission lasting 0.8 seconds, originating from within the Pine Hollow coordinates. Frequency analysis placed it at 19.2 kHz, the same blue tone pattern. When triangulated, the source appeared to come not from ground level but approximately 2 meters above the terrain, consistent with the height of a mounted camera. Following publication of these details, several digital archivists reviewed missing person databases for other cases involving unexplained signal activity. They found at least 5 other wilderness disappearances in the western United States between 2019 and 2024 where digital devices exhibited similar anomalies: brief GPS drifts, phantom logins, unexplained uploads after loss of signal. Each incident occurred within regions sharing unusual electromagnetic activity and sparse network coverage. The pattern suggested something more than coincidence. Whether caused by natural phenomena, experimental technology, or human interference, the mechanism seemed to mirror one aspect: replication, of data, of voices, and perhaps, of presence. The official closure of the case came in June 2025, when the Arizona Department of Public Safety issued a final summary. After exhaustive analysis of all available evidence, no verifiable proof of foul play has been established. Subject likely perished due to environmental exposure. Any anomalous data recorded is attributed to device malfunction or network interference. The statement, though expected, satisfied no one. Researchers called it incomplete. Online communities saw it as suppression. Yet among the documents quietly released through public record requests was one unredacted image, a still frame from the recovered video sequence. The metadata bore a recent timestamp, months after the footage had been officially secured. In the image, the tent flap is open. Inside, a figure stands in silhouette, holding a phone that emits a faint blue glow. The file name reads, reconnect_successful_latency_pending.mp4. No one has claimed responsibility for generating the file. Today, the Pine Hollow site remains closed to overnight campers, due to equipment interference and unstable ground. Hikers report that, on certain cold nights, their devices briefly connect to a network named Briggs Outdoors. Connection lasts less than a second. Then it disappears. Those who have captured the moment describe a flicker, a single pulse of blue light, followed by a whisper of static, as if a long-forgotten stream were still trying to reconnect.